Hi everyone, welcome to On the Other Hand. I'm Ariane Zurcher, and today I'm going to just start on a blank something. So I haven't started anything new, and I've been procrastinating. I've been organizing and winding threads and cleaning the kitchen and writing emails and pretty much anything and everything that I can think of to not face a new piece. I know a lot of you have been here where I am right now, and I thought, okay, let me just film it. Let me just film me starting something. I don't even know what. But before I do that, I also wanted to say that I haven't been completely procrastinating, like pure procrastination, because I have had a lot of other stuff going on. I had to write up and organize and schedule my new slate of workshops that I'll be giving in 2022. I'm going to put the link for the workshops up in the right-hand corner of this video. And you can click on that and it will take you directly to my website where you can see the workshops that I've got lined up. The prices vary depending on how many days. So for instance, I've got the basics workshop, which I'm offering again. This is really for people who are brand new or fairly new to this process. And we go over all the basics. I'm also offering a kit of both fabric and thread, which includes literally everything that you would need for this 2-day workshop, including needle, wool applique thread, linen, wool, other materials that you could experiment with. We're going to go over all of it. We're going to go over all of these things as well as some basic stitches that you need to know to just begin something. And I've taught this course a number of times now, and it's been really, really well received. You can't purchase the kit without purchasing the workshop. It's just how it goes. The other workshop that I'm offering, there are two actually that are based on Dorset buttons, the Dorset button scissor case and the Dorset button glasses case. And both of those also come with thread kits as well as a fabric kit, which I've put together with my own hand-dyed linens, as well as the wool that you need for the shapes, for the scissor case, also the little mirrors to be used with the scissor case, the lining, cotton lining, the fleece interfacing, it's an iron-on fleece interfacing, as well as in the glasses case, a microfiber that you can use instead of the cotton lining. It's what I use for my glasses case, and it is a microfiber that's particularly soft and will not scratch your glasses. So all of that and more. And again, I will put the links for the scissor case in the upper right-hand corner. And I'll also put the link for the glasses case in the upper right-hand corner. The other thing is getting started, right? I mean, that's really was the idea for this video. I've got a lot of stuff that I can always find to do instead of starting some new piece. So I'm going to turn you around. I'm going to focus the camera on my work table, and we're going to start. Deep breath. We're going to start. The first thing I have to do is figure out which fabric material I'm going to use. So these are all my Pat Polly linens. This is one that she sent me. It's got a lot of interest to it, a lot of vibrant color. The problem with this piece is that it's when she was first sort of experimenting with linen. So she sent me some stuff that she had, it's irregular shapes. This is very narrow. It's about, what is this, about 6 inches in width. Okay, so it's 8 inches in width, and then it's really long. So I would have to, cut it up to do something with that. Unless I was going to make, I don't know, something like a needle roll or something, a bolster, something like that. This is a piece that I had cut and used for my big aqua piece. So I have just I think I have just a piece of that. This is a more recent piece with some really cool stuff going on here, going off into this kind of yellow. So that's definitely a possibility. And then I've got, this is another one of these long strips, and this is an entirely different kind of linen. It's really a much lighter weight linen, and I love the stencil work. As you can see, I've used quite a bit of it. So this I'm going to probably use to applique onto whatever piece I use. And then this is another just gorgeous piece with a ton of different stuff going on. It's really interesting, and I kind of feel like I want to do something with this, but I'm also feeling a little overwhelmed. So when I feel overwhelmed, I start smaller. I start with something that's just a little bit more less intimidating, which means something small. Now, if I work on a piece like this, which maybe is what I'll do, this doesn't have to be the background. I can just start working on it, and then I can cut it up and I can put it on top of something else. The other thing I need to figure out is, am I going to do some applique on top? So if this is my piece that I'm going to use, which I think it is, am I going to applique anything on top before I even stitch, or do I just start stitching? And that's the question. For this video, I'm just going to start stitching. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start stitching on this. I have all this really cool Gimp that I got. I'm going to show you. So, of course, this is a whole rabbit hole right here, just winding the Gimp. This is painter's Gimp, right? It comes looking like that. This is Grandma Moses. Rousseau, is this Rousseau? Rousseau. And then this is Steph Francis. It's the Viscous Gimp Gold. Is it all viscous? Yes, so it's all called Viscous Gimp Gold. And obviously tons of colors there. And then this here is just the Viscous Gimp, going in all their different colorways. So I'm going to pull a Gimp that I like that kind of works with this background material, and I'm going to start using that. All right, so I found this one, which I think would look really cool in here. And then I have these, which are these kind of goldy browns, which go here. And this one has sort of the same goldy browns, but it also is working in some other colors, which would be fun. And then this one, which would be great for some kind of accent over here. All right, so I'm going to wind these on my little things, my little cardboard bobbins, which... if you didn't see my organization video, I put the link for those in that video. I'll put the video up in the upper right corner of this video so you can check it out. But I'm also going to put the link for these bobbins down below in the description section. So if you look directly below where this video is playing, it's just above where the comments start. And I'll put the link for these. I find these just fantastic. They're really easy and quick to wind, and they're also fairly inexpensive, relatively speaking. Okay, I'll be right back. So I've chosen my background. I've got the thread I'm going to start with, and that then tells me I have to get my needle. The only needle that works is a 15 Milner's or a 18 chenille. The 18 chenille can be hard to thread simply because it's elongated and this is round. So you can do it, but often I'll show you. Often what I do is instead of struggling like this, I'll just use the Milners. It's tight. And the beauty of the Milners is that I can do a wrap stitch or a non-wrap. It doesn't really matter. With the chenille, I only can do non-wrap stitches. So, and it's harder to thread. So, well, I've threaded this up, so I'm actually going to leave it now. I'm going to take but I'm also going to thread up a Milner's with a different color. Now, as far as a knot at the end, I'm going to show you doing a quilter's knot, right? So if you wrap it around twice, it's very hard to pull it through, right? What I end up doing is just kind of my old-fashioned homemaker's knot, which is just that. And that's fine. So that's threaded. I'm now going to take a different color. I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to pull off a bunch of this. I've got my 15 Milners. And do you see how easy it is to thread that? The only place I know of to purchase a 15, what this is, which is a number, it's being called a number 15 Milner, is through Sue Spargo. I don't know anyone else. If I go to Amazon and I try to order this, I'll get all different kinds of Milners that are not this big. They're tiny. This is what you get from Sue. And they're 4 in a tube, which will last you, that's that's all you'll need. So there I am. Okay, so I'm going to start in this kind of pinky area here. Now, when I start a piece, I almost never, well, I shouldn't say never. I try to go with something sort of similar to some color that's being picked up in the background. So right now it's going to be this little pink. I'm going to go over to the edge here where it's not too big a deal. And I need to put a knot at the end. That would help. And the reason is because I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't figured out, I have no plan for this piece. This really is what I would call an improvisational stitched piece where I have no preconceived idea. I haven't mapped anything out. I haven't added anything yet. I'm just going to start. So I think I'm going to it's on a Milner's. Why not do a Bullion? Bullions are really fun with Gimp, and I'll show you why. And so it's really a cord, this Gimp. But what's cool about it is that, and I don't want it to be too puffy, I want it to lay sort of flat. I definitely need my pliers. I use these, Lindstrom. I'll put the link for these down below. They are critical for Gimp, in my opinion. So when you do your Gimp, it just does take a little manipulation, a little kind of pulling gently. It does poke a big hole in your fabric. There is no way around it. But what comes out is a very cool looking stitch. So there it is. That's my first Bullion. I think I'm going to do one more, probably two more, coming out. I'm going to cut that off so I don't get that pulling out of my fabric. And I think I'm going to go a little bit longer here, maybe to here. And I'm coming back up close, but not into the same hole, because I can lose these. They can all just sort of disappear, especially because I'm having to pierce a pretty big hole into the fabric, just because of the nature of the Gimp and this large needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I think that's good. Again, I don't want it to pull, but I don't want it to be a huge loopy thing either. So, and that's all stuff that you think about when you're using, well, regardless of what material you're using, what thread material, you need to think about how far am I going, how high do I want this to go up. The other thing to do here is to use a hoop, because what inevitably happens with the bullion, regardless of what thread you're using, it does pull the back. But if you have a hoop, you don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to actually go get my hoop. I'll be right back. I've got my hoop on. At this point, the important thing is not to say, oh, I don't know, this doesn't look great, right? Because honestly, you've just begun. We are just at the beginning stage here of making a little noise. And so you can't criticize it. Not yet. And if you do, you have to tell that voice to be quiet. Or, you know, I've said this in the past. I actually don't say be quiet, because I find that voice just gets louder and more petulant. What I do is I say, I hear you, and I'm doing this anyway. That's kind of my mantra. I hear you. You don't like it, but then you don't like anything I do. So there you go. And I'm going to keep doing this anyway. So if you have a voice like that, just know you're not alone. I guess that's the best thing I can say about that. So this can be a little tricky, right? And I just pulled it right out. And there it is. I don't know what I'm doing, you know? So there's no magic here, right? I don't have any idea of what I'm doing. I'm trying to just be present with it. You know, when a friend comes to you and they're feeling kind of blue, or they're going through something, right? You don't try to talk them out of it. You just witness it. You just hang with them and figure, your presence is hopefully helpful, and you just kind of witness. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to witness the process. I'm not judging. I'm not gonna rip stuff out. I'm not gonna go crazy and start criticizing myself. What are you thinking? You should have done more wraps here. Look, I can see the core. No, none of this is going to matter in the long run. I'm just going to keep going until my thread runs out. That's the other thing I do. I just go, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how many of these I'm going to do, but I'm going to keep doing something with this thread until it's run out. Okay, so this one got a little bit you know, loopier, higher. It's got more height to it. That's okay. I think I'm going to go from here, and I'll do a long one sort of to here. And that's going to be the end of my thread. And then I'm going to kind of think about what's next. I don't know what's next. That might not work. I don't think I have enough length here to do this. No, I'm going to have to, okay, so I'm going to undo this, and I'm going to reposition so that it's more like that. And this is one of those, you know, use every last bit. That should be fine. And I will use my pliers here. And there, I'm gonna go back down over here, and I have to re-thread this because it came out. And I'm going to do my knot in the back, and then I'm going to I'm going to consider what's next. My guess is I'm going to come in with a different color. I may come in with a different kind of thread, because Gimp is, here's the thing about Gimp. Gimp is such a distinctive thread. It's very cool. It's very distinctive. I could do some French knots over here, or maybe colonial knots. I might, just because I've got it threaded up, use this one and bring in a little cluster maybe of, now remember, I've got this on a chenille. That's okay. I'm gonna do a colonial knot right here. Now the trick about this, remember, is you don't want to go into the same hole, because it will it'll just pull right through and disappear, and you'll have a big hole in your fabric, and the thread will be, your little knot will be underneath it. So I'm just going to do a couple, a little cluster, right? Just a little cluster. Okay, now here's the thing. I'm not thinking about what am I doing, where am I going, how's this going to work in the big picture. I'm not thinking about any of that. I'm just putting some thread and some stitches down on this piece. After I've worked on it for a while, I'm going to assess. I'll put it up on a design wall, or I'll, unless I have, that's usually farther along, but with just a few stitches, I'll just kind of back away. I might take a photo of it to kind of look at what's going on. And then I might introduce some kind of element of some kind. And yeah, those are pretty, aren't they? I love little colonial knots in Gimp. It's really a lovely, such a great thread. cord material, really. It's not thread, it's really more of a cord. I'm not getting ahead of myself. I don't want to start trying to map anything out. I need to just be in the process and not leapfrog forward. The other thing is I need to show up for this. You know, I can't what happened? I can't, nothing is going to get done if I don't show up, sit down, get my needle, get some material to thread into the needle, and then just start doing something. If I don't do that, if I don't take the time to do that, nothing. This is just going to remain untouched. I have to show up. I have to show up for the process. I have to allow it to unfold. I have to allow myself to feel whatever I'm feeling and to do the work anyway. That's really the key. Just do it anyway. There's always an excuse. You know, there's always reasons why we should be doing something else. There are other things that call to us that require our attention, and it has to be a priority. It has to be something that you do, and you take the time to let this process unfold. And if you don't know what you're doing, or you don't know what to do next, just grab something completely different, right? So the next thing I'm going to do after I finish this, and I don't know if you can see, but it's really doing a number on this Gimp. I can't get it over the rayon thread, the metallic thread. I'm just ripping it and I'm getting the cord. So what do I learn from that? Well, I need to keep these lengths shorter. That's the first thing. And the second is the chenille needle is really hard on the thread, and it really just makes it easier to work with a Milner's. It just does. So I do one more over here. And maybe one other here. I could probably do one more beyond this. And then I really am at the end. And because this is fraying, it's making it harder to pull it through as well. I'll do one more here. And that's going to be it for this color and this thread for now. I can come back. I've got lots of Gimp, but a little Gimp goes a long way, you know. So I'm going to come in with some other colors and some other thread types. Maybe some pearl cottons, maybe some really thin, and it's going to add a lot of interest. Do a Gimp, do a spun silk with flames, which is a really thin thread. Maybe use a number 8 and a number 5 pearl cotton, maybe a pearl silk, maybe add a boucle, you know, and on it goes. I hope you found this helpful. If nothing else, it just shows you how to dive in. Just dive in. It doesn't matter where. It could have been anywhere on this piece, you know? There were a lot of really interesting places that I could have started. This is another one, you know? this is calling out to me. And maybe what I'll do is I'll get some threads and start doing something in here. I kind of see something big here, like maybe some free form crocheting in this whole piece that's kind of lacy looking. And on it goes. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, let's keep stitching together.